So are you saying that you just don't
No,
picture Jesse Jackson? Jesse Jackson was never in the Senate.
no, that's what I'm saying.
No, no,
I
it's his
couldn't picture
son.
that.
Okay,
Yeah,
it's Jesse Jackson Jr.
who occasionally gets on the news and says, "Dad, shut up."
Yeah, actually, his son
Basically.
is actually quite moderate. He's not a leftist at all. But yeah, oh, you don't know? Okay, no, he's actually pretty moderate and stuff. You know who I really like, who I think they should give it to, although he's from Tennessee, is Harold Ford Jr.
Yeah, I like him
Because
too.
he's and he, if you remember in '04, or was it, no, it was '06, they took him down by making him sound like he was some kind of playboy and stuff like that, which he wasn't. He had actually never been to the Playboy Mansion. No, I can't believe that men would not vote for a guy who had been to the Playboy Mansion. You think
Jealousy at that point, you know.
but the thing is, he had actually never been to the Playboy Mansion. But anyway,
Can you imagine having to go
that's
on
how he
the
lost
air
his seat.
and politically apologize for not having gone to the Playboy Mansion?
I actually
Honest.
I agree with you that that shouldn't matter even if he had have went.
But
But apparently he didn't go.
in some of
It
the
was a lie.
states where they try to really push the morals
Yeah,
issue,
the whole, family value vote type thing.
maybe he maybe he got caught with a picture wearing some sort of silk house coat, and they assumed he got it from Hugh.
Yeah, and now the the runoff vote began today in Georgia. With Saxby Chandler. This guy is vile, okay? This is the guy who took Max Cleland's seat, right? This is a guy who came home from Vietnam with basically a torso. He doesn't
Max, yeah.
have use of really he only has use of, like, I think one of his arms. He no legs. He came home basically a torso, and they tried to swift, well, they successfully swift voted him.
Yeah, he was one of the
They
test
took him out
cases,
in
right?
2004.
Yeah, they sort of, what they did to McCain the first time around, what they did to Cleland, and then what they did to John Kerry.
Yeah.
Although John Kerry could have, just bored everybody to death.
Yeah.
But
But I'm actually, well, I don't know, because so much bad has gone on in the last 4 years that I don't even think Kerry could have done a worse job. But yeah, I wasn't a huge fan of John Kerry's. But I still think he would have done a better job than Bush.
oh, I think so too. But
But then again, I think a rotting tomato could have done a better job than Bush. So,
the thing is going to be Chambliss has still got a good shot. I mean, it was really close, and Georgia is,
Well, Georgia
very
is
very
Georgia, but the
Republican.
big
But
guns are coming out because the runoff started today, and they're expecting it to be done by Tuesday. But
but
Bill Clinton is expected to go down, and so if you live near Georgia or you're around Georgia, in Georgia, you can go and see Bubba because he will be in
yeah,
Georgia campaigning for the challenger, and
but
it would be great to see this guy lose the seat for what they did to Max Cleland.
it would be.
Hey, Chunky Scotsman, how you doing, bud? Good to
But
see you.
it is, it's unlikely. It's going to be a tight one. It's going to be, whether
I
the,
mean, how do you say a guy who comes home with a torso isn't a hero?
yeah,
I mean, that's even worse. Like what happened to McCain in Vietnam was horrible as a POW. Sure, he was tortured and everything, but how is that a hero, and Max Cleland's not?
oh,
I mean, how does that work?
as I recall, they tried to like frame it as trying to say that he accidentally blew himself up, and it didn't happen. The guy had, you know, enough medals to cause an able-bodied man to have difficulty walking around carrying all the hardware. And
Well,
yeah, I mean, what they did to him was
well, actually,
appalling.
I'm gonna wait to address him because he said be right back. So, but he was saying that he didn't want to disrespect him. I assume he's talking about Max Cleland. But I don't like how the left made him out to be a war hero. If you come home from war with basically a torso,
You've
what
more than done your job for the
I think
country.
you've
Yeah.
earned the right of being called a hero. I mean, what makes John McCain a war hero? Because he got caught. I mean, he didn't even see combat. He got caught. He sat out the war in the Hanoi Hilton.
It
What
is,
makes him a war hero then? See, it's
yeah.
like I don't like how they pick and choose who's a war hero. I think that if you go and you fight for your country, and even if the war is wrong, I blame the political arm of the war. I blame, like, Vietnam was politically a mess. And politically, the blame should be there. I don't agree with the way the people treated the military, the soldiers and stuff when they came home from Vietnam. I disagree with that.
It
And
is.
I'm glad that they've learned their lesson and they respect the soldiers now when they come home. But uh, but I don't get how John McCain's a war hero. How do you spell that guy's name? Max Cleland?
Cleland, I believe.
Cleland, yeah.
But
And Max is
there,
M-A-X.
there is some truth to the notion, though, that the term hero does get. I mean, it's
It's used awfully loose.
it is to the point where any
same
veteran,
with freedom and
yeah.
9/11 and all these buzzwords and hero.
I mean, there is the difference between the
they've
guy.
cheapened it.
Yeah, there is the difference between calling. I mean, yes, to a certain extent, every returning veteran is a hero, but it does take away from the people that really go out and do that, outstanding, selfless
Yeah, that
thing
jumps
and
on the grenade to save his
his
troop,
buddies or whatnot,
his-
or stands and takes the face of fire, holds out single-handedly the opposition or whatnot, and those people, it all gets lumped together, and yeah, I guess to a certain extent they have all gone out and been willing to do the same job and face the same danger and whatnot. But it does make it a lot harder to differentiate
Yeah,
the
I mean,
real
and
war
there's
heroes.
some people that in training camp during training camp, they're the toughest son of a bitches. You think, oh man, this guy's gonna go out and he's just gonna go Rambo on their ass when he ends up in combat, and then this little dweeb over here, he's gonna totally choke and we're gonna have to save his ass and stuff like that. And then you get into combat, and the big tough guy, he's
Not so tough,
shivering and
yeah.
he can't pull the trigger, and the little geek guy who you thought you were gonna have to carry his ass turns out to be a hero. I mean,
Yeah,
and
you
that's
never know.
always the way it happens. You can't always judge a book by its cover.
No, and you never know who's going to be the one to step up to the plate
And yes,
when
when the
people's lives are on the
chips are
line.
down, who is it that does that extraordinary thing? Just being a soldier in itself. I mean, let's not forget we have it all voluntary military. Everybody who's in the military chose to be there. They're the this isn't Vietnam. Okay, you're in the military because you want to be in the military. So just by being a soldier, by definition, does that make you a hero, or should you have to do something extraordinary besides just being a soldier to get hero? I
think
guess is really the question.
yeah, I guess the difficulty is there really isn't a word that you have for the person that is willing to go out and to a lot of people that there is that native heroism to being willing to put your life on the line, but there isn't that differentiating level between that and, like you say, the person that is willing to throw themselves on the grenade.
Yeah, somebody who consciously knows they're giving up their life to save other people's lives, like deliberately doesn't act, like jumps on the grenade. That to me is a hero.
Yeah, and I guess I think what
Just
bothers.
because you got caught, like in the case of, we're using Cleland and McCain and that as examples. Like Cleland, I don't know. Is he a hero because he got blown to bits? I mean, I think so, given the way he got blown to bits.
Yeah, and
Because he was doing a heroic act. Now, is McCain a hero because he sat out the war at the Hanoi Hilton? I'm not convinced. And let's not forget that he did finally cave and he did talk to get medical treatment.
yeah.
So I don't consider him a hero,
But
but I
beyond-
still respect his service.
But like we say, that becomes the word that gets, casually put around that all veterans are heroes, and it's. It is awkward. We don't have that one word beyond veteran, and veteran, I guess a lot of people don't feel conveys quite that sense. And I think what always bothered me in '04 was the number of people that were willing to go after John Kerry and call him a traitor or a coward, and it was by and
Yeah,
large,
and Kerry was shot.
and it was by and large the people that were the the deferment folks, the rush I can't go to Vietnam 'cause I
Yeah,
had
the
anal
five
cysts,
deferment Dick Cheney.
that would question the patriotism of
Yeah,
at the
like
time.
one
and it's
of
like,
the deferments Dick Cheney got for Vietnam, he got married.
That's-
You cannot get a deferment for that anymore.
No.
But that is one of the he got 5 deferments.
Yeah,
Dick
and-
Cheney, but who is more of a warmonger than friggin' Dick Cheney? And if you're his best friend, don't go hunting with him. Trust me, he'll shoot you in the face.
I mean, at least Rumsfeld served. It may have been peacetime, but at least he signed up. So I had to give him credit.
So he's saying that anyone who